Hello, everyone. Welcome back for more Great Ace Attorney. We're on part 3 of the trial, which, I've been told there is still a lot left to this. There is still a hearty chunk, which makes sense. It is the final trial of the first game, right? This was meant to be the big finale, then people had to wait, it was like a year, 2 years for the second part. So, yeah, it makes sense why this is gonna be the big, meaty conclusion. We're at the break, the recess, in the Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Ah, Gina, how are you holding up? Hmm. You know, this could go a lot easier if you just talked, considering, like, you know, we're kind of on the up and up. I'm starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now. Ginny, are you all right? Why aren't you saying anything? What's the point, eh? Why go to all this trouble and fight so hard for the likes of me? What? What, you saw it? That picture. What picture? Ah, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Well, I didn't think you would have captured a scene like this, that's for sure. It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you've got to have your doubts about me now. You can't still think I'm innocent. Oh, of course I can. I have to. That's my job. Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Bruno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you. All right, then. Good. Finally. Straight from the horse's mouth. It was after we had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we all had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. Thank you for flashing back, because I sure need to remember. Well, after that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went down to the street to the 2-to-1, to Wendy Bank's place. I know I had to. If Iris's story was there or not, the Hound of the Baskervilles? I don't know what it's about or nothing, but if you ask me, there's something about that Shelms, something in it that Shelms don't like, something what we don't want people reading. So that's why he lied to Iris about sticking it in lug with Windybank for safekeeping. At least, that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Windybank's? I had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all that stuff was gonna kick off, did I? I struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I gave the oil lamp on the counter a bit of wick, and that's when... What do you think you're doing? I don't know who's talking. I nearly died, I did. And the next thing I knew... Oh, I grabbed the gun off the counter and was waving it in the air like... Well, I don't know what. Ah, you're that girl who was in here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went in for armed robbery. The mantle script. Have you got it here? Did Shelms leave a load of papers with you? A story? I beg your pardon? The Hound of, something or other. If it's here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. Well, I don't want it. What would I do with it anyway? I just want to say it's here, that's all. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Shelms really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, well, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my gun around, would you? That's for me to put to my noggin and threaten people with. As then the old cove unlocked the storeroom door and we both went inside. And it was there all right, the manuscript. The shelves weren't lying after all. You did all that just to check for me, Ginny? Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop. The Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes. What was that noise? Someone's breaking in! Oh dear me. Is there some burglars convention here tonight that I don't know about? I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. I'm sorry. I'd better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my gun back? I need to show them that this time I'll really do it. I'm going to do it, I swear. Oh, well, I'll come with you and... Oh, now don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances. And with that, he took the gun out of my hands and walked back out into the shop. I hung back in the storeroom like he said, straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. It sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. Started to think I should help, see? So, I was just about to go to the storeroom myself when... that would be very frightening. I had a couple of shots go off. 2, I think. Almost at the same time. And then there he was, right at my feet, lying face down on the floor. I was right about next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it quick as you like. Because you thought whoever shot Mr. Windybank might come for you? Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove's gun. I figured I'd put up a fight at least. When I got a better look at him, I knew. Windybank was a goner. And then she passes out. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kinda dizzy. And after that, well, I don't remember nothing. That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I'd done, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you told us? Of course I did, but I didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. It'll be all right, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Runo's about to put the real culprit through the mill. That cove what was there in the afternoon? That Egbert Benedict? I still remember how he looked at me. Like I was nothing. He was there that night. You don't know his real name yet, but I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what? You can leave it all in Runo's capable hands now, Ginny. Mr. Nara Odo. Yes, that's close enough. How come you trust me? I don't get it. I mean, have you forgotten what happened here before? Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGill did. I told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bog trotter off with him, even though he was the killer. No, I could never forget that. Oh, I did what I thought was best at the time, but the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. Oh, but what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook, for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. And strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it. Oh, Bruno. But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Ah, his theme starts. Ryunosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest. I was so happy. I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me, I couldn't help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute, unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute, unwavering belief in him. Oh, so you two... No. No. You should... Yeah, no. No, it's fine. No. Don't gotta worry about that. Leave it to my descendants years later. That, yeah... Good couple generations? Yeah, probably. Not me. No. Aggressively heterosexual. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first. That is so close to being straight from Gurren Lagann. What are you saying? I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down. I really like your cap. It's cute. It's like Mario. Even though I'm a diver? And a no good liar? Well, that rhymed, didn't it? You're not like Miguel did. I know that. Huh? That's right. You're our friend, Ginny. And you're also not, from up there. Iris. We know you better than you think. And we've come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust. Yes. That's really all we need to know. Exactly. Mr. Naraoto, Sniffle.
Defendant Logino is found and a legal representative. Court proceedings in Bradley's room. Please head to the court immediately.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. That guy sounded big. He sounded very large. I'd been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another putting all their faith in you. This is it at last. The final chapter. The final battle. Wish me luck, Sasato-san. And I hope you're watching over me too, partner. Do you think they have cable up in this universe's version of heaven? Which, according to Street Fighter comics, is the same universe as Street Fighter. Edgeworth literally appears in the Street Fighter comics, along with, like, Dr. Wily and stuff. It's a bit strange. Udon's comics are weird and also dubiously canon. We also have future versions of Phoenix and Miles in the Mega Man Archie comics. So, that's cool. They're standing farther away.
I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Lestrade. Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communications station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
I see. Then let us turn our attention to Inspector Gregson's presses of the case heard by the court this morning. Declaring a mission of the third bulletin reports a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, I can only apologize, my lord.
But although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood of the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake. Better watch where you sleep later.
My lord!
Hi.
The subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building. Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Egbert Benedict. Or as your real name is probably Mr. Sunny Side Up. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon. And certainly not like, I did. Dude looks like a JoJo villain. He looks like a Zappelli mixed with, frickin' Yoshikage Kira. Like, come on.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir.
But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it is my pleasure to oblige.
Now, kindly state your name and occupation for the court.
Ashley Graydon, communications officer. Ashley? That's a girl's name! That's a girl's name! No wonder he gave an alias. I too would be embarrassed. Ashley! Oh! Dang, yo. Did he get updated already? Oh yeah, there we go. 27, an operator at the Central Communication Station who had been subpoenaed because he was caught on photograph taken by the red-hand recorders at the pawnbrokery. Mr. Graydon and I both work at London Central Communication Station. Now, perhaps somebody would kindly explain what this is all about. You were apprised of the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume. Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street. And some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. This really is beyond a joke, you know.
Very well. Without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Miss Graydon. You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath, so don't you lie. I mean, I'm an ace attorney judge, so I'll give you like 2 or 3 times to lie, but after that, I'm coming for you, buddy. Don't you lie.
Oh, he's got the moves. Gladly, my lord. Gladly. Can you do that again? That was kind of cool. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time, but are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation, even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some Scaramouche detective's homebrewed tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence. Wow, you used 4 big words in a row.
So, you deny the accusation completely, do you?
I must say, I am dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by this self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands the jury's will is upheld. You there, we have a similar voice, don't we? That's going to get mad confusing later. I better differentiate it slightly. Then it would seem we have the misfortune of a most inept assembly of jurors today. Oh, that's not going to get them on your side, buddy.
By golly.
How long am I expected to be detained here?
Well, following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in the matter has not been established. You will be free to leave immediately.
Good. Then I shall be away in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation, at least.
Well, let us not hold Mr. Graydon any longer than necessary, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination.
So, we meet again, Mr. Egbert Benedict. Or is it Mr. Graydon? My apologies. You are Ryunosuke Naruhodo, defense lawyer. We have met. If you say so. Ashley Graydon, enchanté. So, Okay. Calm down, Zappelli. I trust we can conclude this quickly. But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do it. He's gonna do it one time, that animation's gonna play another time, and it's gonna have blades in it. It's gonna have blades in it. Like, let's be honest here. It's gonna have blades in it. You can't do this and not have it be one time he's gonna try and attack him with a blade in there. It's gonna happen, I'm calling it now. Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbroking services from time to time. Well, for what? What do you pawn? Yes, we even met in the very pawnbroker where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. It was Mr. Egbert Benedict, I believe. Tell me, what made you... The witness is here to testify about events that took place that night. He is under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions. Oh, you can't be serious. Thank you, because I certainly do not feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question. You're going to be evasive, is he? In an effort not to give anything away. This could be tricky. Okay, so we're gonna have to come back to that later. But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into the place on the night of the murder? Yeah, I am. Have you seen these two men before? This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals. Said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict. I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Hoo-ha! Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in the British court anyway? That's a loaded statement. That's a microaggression. Well, needless to say, I'm just gonna be a little bit racist. Just a touch, as a treat. I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation. Where were you at around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir? That is past the hour at which I would normally retire. Certainly, I was not in the company of these rapscallions. You're able to prove that?
Objection!
Okay. Listen carefully, my learned Nipponese friend, for you appear to be under a gross misapprehension on this point. Well, what do you mean? The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. If your accusation is that the witness was present at the scene, the obligation lies with you to prove your assertion. You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness. Ha. Well, a silent victory wiggle. Thanks. He does wiggle. Even if certain parties here claim that my blood was found at the scene. Can we do a blood sample now? Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Shom's chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such. But I am not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I? How can you be sure that the blood is mine? It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants. Well, every individual's blood has slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Shom's chemical is able to differentiate... spare me the science lesson. You're talking like a nerd. I don't have time for nerds. Who is this Shom's character, anyway? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective. So even you aren't able to bring yourself to say great detective. A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we? Wait, what? Why do you want to talk about that? Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin the Taller?
Oh, what, Mike?
No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you. Right, I've had it up to here with this. How many times do I gotta tell you? No, yeah, I know. You're not Big Bruv Sulky. Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Hey, God blimey, Governor! You what?
Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share the thought with the court?
Me thoughts? Oh, I don't have none. It must have been him.
Oh, you what? Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke?
Oh, nothing. Honest, Gov, nothing. I was just thinking, if he waves his arms around like that much more, I'll open up the wound again, that's all.
What wound?
Well, where he took the bullet, of course. It was only 2 days ago. It ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know, I was worrying for him and, oh, elves bells.
Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Well, your comrade is worried about you, it seems. On account of your injured arm. My lord.
But yes, Mr. Graydon.
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to their mindless insinuations. We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Perhaps you'd allow a court official to examine your arm, sir. The one that you've been grasping at in pain this whole time. The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand, as if in pain. Unless he's acting. No, I refuse. You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves. Accordingly, I am not obliged to permit such an invasion of my privacy. My arm? You might as well ask to see my ankles next, you whore. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroker where this fellow was killed whatsoever. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim to have done nothing whatsoever to... You claim you had nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery.
My lord, the defense would like that last statement to be added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony.
Very well, counsel. Get his ass. Get his axe. Get him. Get him. I mean, continue with the testimony, Mr. Graydon.
Oh boy, here we go. The bottom line is, I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroker establishment when the man was killed. I'm gonna press him first, but I know what I'm gonna throw at him. Never had anything to do with it. You forget that I was there, Mr. Graydon, on the very afternoon of the incident. Obviously, I am not a complete stranger to the pawnbrokers. I'm currently on the lookout for an armchair to furnish my study. No, you were there to redeem an article. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Excuse me.
What, you have something to say? Do you have something to add, Inspector? What? Come again, sunshine? You were there too, in fact, weren't you, Inspector, that afternoon? Well, yes, I do remember meeting yourself and that pawnbroker's that afternoon. You, your young Japanese assistant, and the accused were all present, as I recall. At that time, this witness, Mr. Graydon, was trying to acquire a particular article. Well now. I'm kind of really going, like, Texas with him. I'm gonna pull back on that a bit. I'm afraid that I don't remember too clearly. What? But you must. Well, I'm not gonna lie and pretend I remember something I don't. What's going on here? He's in his pocket. Craigsy showed us a picture before, didn't he? You know, from the cameras that Hurley installed in Windybanks. Yes, of course.
Indeed, but the gentleman picture bears a striking resemblance to the witness, I must say. So you've got the same hat?
Exactly, which proves that Mr. Green was in the shop in the afternoon in question. At no point have I denied that fact. But I merely entered the shop to peruse the articles on sale and have a word with the broker. Try and make him really do it this time. Nothing more. This makes no sense. I understand why Mr. Graydon might be trying to cover his tracks. But why would Gregson be trying to avoid giving testimony about what happened? That's all he's gonna say on the matter, is it? What do you think, Miss Bruno? I think he has no intention of telling us anything. He's well aware that the less he says, the less chance he has of giving himself away. The complete opposite of Hurley, then. He seems to think the more he says, the better. Well, at least I managed to prise a little more information from the witness's lips. All thanks to the Skulkin brothers. Yes, they were the key to it after all. So he says he had nothing to do with Windybanks. Well, we know that's not true. Perhaps now would be a good time to have a proper look through the court record. Good idea. You never know, a tiny scrap of information could become a valuable weapon. I think it's going to be redemption ticket. It's going to be one of the redemption tickets, right? Windybank written on it. Okay, that's the other one there. Yeah, it's not this one. It's this one. Appears to have used the back of this photograph to write out a redemption ticket. He's written it very neatly, but still, perhaps he ran out of paper, so had to use anything he had on hand. It's hard to know what's the front and what's the reverse now. Maybe not. Okay, I thought one of the redemption tickets was his. Am I confused? Okay, I can't even go behind those. Okay. I've never, like, wait, we've never even looked at this. You have to pop your 2 prints in here to start with, see? And then when you look through the eyepieces, you can see the image in 3 dimensions. The important thing to get right is the position of the 2 prints. I don't know who came up with the idea of stereoscope, but it's really quite fascinating. Would be even cooler if you played it on the 3DS. Okay, let's see here. Can we open it? Can we not actually open it? Can we unfurl it? Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, look at that! It's totally changed shape just from one little button press. Well, that is what the button's for, Bruno. You're just like Hurley. You boys love pressing buttons, don't you? Especially if you don't know what they do. Us boys, says the 10-year-old girl. Anyway, now you can see that it really is a stereoscope, can't you? Because they gave this to us and, like, we haven't actually, like, used it. Do we put the pictures in here? Okay. I'm curious how we can actually use this. We got it, but I don't think there's anything to, like, click on, is there? Not really. It says to put the pictures in, but I can't put them in or anything. Music box disc for McGilded. Okay. No, that has nothing to do with what we're doing. The Baskervilles. I don't think there's anything to do with that. No other signs. Pawnbroker. Those have nothing to do with it. Let's see. Smear blood turn green when analyzed. I mean... What was that there? You never know what tiny scrap of information can become a powerful weapon. Tiny scrap, huh? Just trying to think here. That's just that we don't... Because I'm thinking, like, again, anything you can, like, flip over and look at. Right? Unless it's, like... Because I don't think there's anything there. Well, still don't know what's up with the cat pictures. If the cat pictures are going to be important or not. Let's just see here. So, it's obviously going to be in the last one. Oh, we didn't do this one.
Hold it!
Don't forget, sir, that Mr. Sherlock Holmes is the most famous detective in the world. I think you mean Sherlock Holmes. Who? No, you can't say that. And the most famous detective in the world tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Oh no, I can't think how to answer that. I once saw the world's most famous swindler thrown into jail. He allegedly told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but what turned out to be a pack of lies. Ah, quite. Now, as you are no doubt aware, the Central Communication Station is the heart of this country's information network. My work there is of a paramount importance, and you have kept me from it from long enough already. Okay, the bottom line is, I've never had anything with the pawnbroker establishment where the man was killed. It's gonna be this one. It's gonna be this one. The question just now becomes, what do we use on this? Right? Now, let's see. I'm worried that if we bring up the disc, he'll say, I don't have anything to do with that. Right? We have these two pictures, which don't mean much to us. Scotland Yard, no trauma. Morning paper. Oh, wait, wasn't it the jacket? Yeah, the overcoat. Right? The overcoat was something that he grabbed. But is there anything that actually says that it's his? Like that he went in to grab it? Right? Mr. Mason's blood is on it. That's going to be what links everything together. Which contains an article of government secrets. That's going to be a problem later. Not now, not now. Single bullet. The different guns. I'm thinking it's going to be this.
Objection.
Oh my god, it is. Have you ever seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon? Why? This is supposed to mean something. Well, this disc was, until the day of the murder, in pawn in Mr. Windybank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, that afternoon, but however, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? As I have reiterated numerous times now, you are mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life. Oh, it may have escaped your notice, but there's a small smear of blood on the disc.
Oh, yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of that skirmish in the form of this smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also in the form of a scratch.
Oh, good gracious! Indeed it must!
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc.
Oh.
Well. It would seem I underestimated you.
What is the meaning of this?
So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you... It's funny, it's like, you admit you have a scratch on your thumb. It's like, what a powerful scene of what a small thing. From when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant.
Border! Well, Mr. Graydon?
It would appear there has been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc as you put it. No, quite the reverse. What are you trying to say? Hoo-ha! It's really quite simple, you see. The disc was mine from the outset. Is there some crime in taking an item that you own out of pawn? What? It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now. As you wish, though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder. Buddy, it does. Alright, what do you have to say? There's a note on the disc saying, for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break in the shop later that same night.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGilded, you say? Well, the famous London philanthropist who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder.
Yes, my lord. The one and the same.
Oh, good lord! Mr. Graydon, are you saying that Mr. McGilded and yourself were acquainted?
Yes, that's correct.
Order? Well, I certainly didn't expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGilded himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windybanks. It's funny that Mr. Graydon here's claimed the disc belongs to him then, isn't it? In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windybanks in order to get his hand on McGilded's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
All right. Let's go after him. There's a note on the disc saying for McGilded, but the item belongs to me. Why? That makes no sense. Would you care to explain how this belongs to you? As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
Well, you are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir. You have the riz, as the kids say.
So you see, I've little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question. You claim that was your overcoat? Obviously. And in my haste, I clean forgot that the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet, there's a note on it that reads for McGilded. I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box music. Have you ever heard of Crazy Frog? I first met Mr. McGilded at a gentleman's club in the city, and was interesting to discover he loved them big booty Latinas twerking on him. Oh wait, probably not that type of gentleman's club nowadays in London. Very few Latinas. That he shared my penchant in that area of big booty Latina.
So, big food.
We're done with the joke.
So that disc in question.
It's a pre-production sample. I promised to let Mr. McGilded hear it. But then you forgot it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn. Yes, exactly. Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she? No, because McGilded had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's gonna expose Gina's perjury. Oh dear, yeah, that's bad. This is complicated, isn't it? Let's leave it alone for the time being. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. Okay, what about that? Tell me more. You're saying that Miss Lestrade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag? That's right. Despite being mindful of danger when walking the insalubrious, oh my god, that's a word I've never read before. Insalubrious areas her kind frequent. I don't even know what that means. Please use better English. Miss Lestrade did no such thing. Well, of course you would take that stance. But the girl is a regular offender. You came to the pawnbrokery that day prepared with all the information needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Windybanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGilded's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense. Nonsense?
I concur with the prosecution. You are a very nonsensical little guy. Counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear?
Yes, my lord. Then I'll continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article. Have you ever been to Windybanks before? Only once, for the purposes of pawning something. But like many, I enjoy browsing in such establishments, seeing what Nintendo Entertainment System games they might have grossly overpriced. I'm not going to buy another copy of Duck Hunt for 30 pence. So when you noticed that the pickpocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. I didn't notice at first, of course, such is the art of the pick-purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbroker at once in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could. I was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place. He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this. Don't we need the code word, though? In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police.
Hold it!
Why? Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it? That's right. This was the very man. Apparently the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGilded as evidence. Oh. You have something to say about that, buddy? Is something wrong, Inspector? What do you mean? The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way. No, it's nothing. Leave it alone. Let me ask you this, Inspector. Riddle me piss. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGilded's possessions? I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine. What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets? Yes, exactly. You should know all about that. Magnus McGilded, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life. Yet, he had a dark side too. Well, where are you going with this, Van Zeeks? I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they? Oh, that's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out we're not at a liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know. Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume. The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first. What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here.
Well, it would appear that the inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord. Do I need to press that one again and just continue? Let's just let that continue. Let's do that again and see what happens if we don't.
Is that right?
Yeah, let's just continue. And that's what the inspector said, at least, as he seized my disc. And thanks to that skirmish with the wastrel, I snagged the end of my thumb at the same time. And the disc in question is this disc here. Yes, it is. Scotland Yard have indeed been gathering items believed to have been the property of McGilded, presumably to aid their investigations in some way. Not something I would be aware of. I really didn't know the man well, anyway. Hoo-ha! After all, I'm merely a communications officer with a penchant for music boxes. And flamboyant poses. Okay. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break in the shop later that same night. Well, let's talk. But perhaps you'd seen something of value among the forfeited items? No, not at all. Oh. A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brac. Well, in that case, it's clear that you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGilded's disc. Have you not been listening, man? Even if I wanted to recover the disc, You may recall it had been seized by the police that afternoon. There was no more in the shop that night than I. As I keep saying, I simply had no reason to break in. So there was nothing of McGilded's left in the shop that night. Nothing this man might have been after. I wonder if that's really true. Bruno, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see what that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble. I put a the in there where I shouldn't. McGilded slipped the disc into his coat pocket and deposited it at Windybank's. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. There's no doubt about it. That witness is lying through his pearly white teeth. Police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilded as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc into custody that day. But Gregsy's been very strange about all this. Must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. Okay, so it's gonna clearly be this one. Right? So I think it's gonna be this one here. Because this is his overcoat, right? And it's the fact that there's the blood on it. I think that's what it's gonna be. Right? He wants to get rid of the blood that's on it. Let's see what else there is. Unpublished story, deposited the Hound of the Baskervilles. I don't think we have even read it though, right? Maybe. Let's see. Signs of trauma. Reason he would be here. I think it's gonna be this. Because of Mr. Mason's blood, right? That's gonna be the big thing. Because that proves the murder. Right, 10 shillings, one small box. That's there. I think this one has the blood stain on it. That's what I'm thinking about. I feel like we might be jumping the gun on that. Wait a sec. Okay. Stab wound. Conviction was assured with 3 eyewitness testimonies. Okay. Surprise 4th witness. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick save. I'm gonna try that one. I'm gonna try it. Right? Because you were not coming in for that. You're coming in to take this because there's the evidence of it, maybe?
Objection!
That's a bad one. That's a bad one. There's clearly something odd about the last statement made by the witness. There's clearly something odd indeed. Don't you bleeding idiot. Oh, please don't mind me. I'm going back in time. I'm going back. I'm going to do it. I'm going back in time. Here we go. Okay, so it wasn't that. I feel like that's me jumping the gun way too much, right? I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop on the same night. This was here, but it was still there, right? It came after, so that'll have nothing to do with it. Glass files, the music box for McGilded. There's nothing on the other side of that paper. I've tried to look at it. The dog portrait. Wait. That's still there. Yeah, that being there is mad interesting, actually. Wait a sec. Is that also different, maybe? I was gonna look at that and see if that's different, to see if it's like, if the cat portrait changed, but it didn't. So we didn't touch that. I wish I could pop them in, you know? Let's see. No signs of trauma, posterior. Did we click on this one? Yeah, this is just the same one. Okay. Sensational story, communications. Right? Yeah, I mean, it might have to do with the communications. He might be trying to get it for something, you know? I thought it'd be this one. One small box, 10 shillings. Right, this is his. And this is clearly, so this is the one Gina had. Okay. Chemicals, no. I had no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Maybe it is a different one. Disc was taken by the police. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain it and redeem. Redemption ticket was stolen from me from the accused. Wait. Wait. You mean the one with the blood on it?
Objection!
Frick. I thought... Okay. It's got to be something with redemption ticket. Right? Redemption ticket was stolen. There's a note, but the item belongs to me. Okay. The redemption ticket was stolen by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. Are we gonna show it in the picture maybe to say like, no, it's right there? Maybe? No, but that wouldn't help anything. This is a tough one. I proceeded once to the shop in order to explain my situation. That's fine. In the end, the disc was taken by the police. So then how do we have it here? No, it was given back to us. In other words, I had no reason... Okay, this one's pretty on the nose. Okay, what do we have to say? Slipped the disc into the coat pocket and had deposited at Winnie Banks. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested, he threatened Gene and forced to take the redemption ticket. No doubt about it, that witness is lying through his pearly teeth. The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGilded. That's why Inspector Grayson ended up taking the disc. But, okay, so it's going to be the redemption ticket, for sure. It's going to be the redemption ticket. Yep, it's going to be it. I just have to find out which one. For McGilded, but the item belongs to me. Okay. Is this where we do the redemption ticket?
Objection!
No. Let's just consider the implications of that statement for a moment, shall we? This is new, I think.
What implications, counsel? Nothing strikes me about it.
Exactly. There's nothing striking about it.
What does strike me as offensive for the inane, however?
Okay, back in time. Zip zoom. I just like to keep my points up, you know. Okay, so it's not that one. Redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused on the day in question. The blood is Mr. Mason's, though. This feels like it's the right one, but it's not. How come it's not? What am I missing?
What am I missing?
I'm clearly missing something here. Okay, let's go with... We'll do it for all of them, and then we'll see. Proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation. It's not that one. This was taken by the police. I had no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
Objection!
Nope. Okay, we did that one twice, and that's still not it. Okay. Maybe it's one of the other ones. Maybe it is a weird one that I'm just missing, you know? The disc was taken by the police. That's fair. It was. Proceed at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article.
Objection!
No. Okay. What am I missing? I see exactly what I need to do. My only thought is I had no reason to break into the shop later that same night. Is it to get this?
Objection!
Like, is it to get it there? I think it's he wants to get back the redemption ticket that we originally had, right? Present. So we did the post shooting. Let's do this one.
Objection!
No? Okay. That reveals a damning inconsistency. It does. Is how I feel right now for real. What am I missing? If it's not that. Gina's no, pawnbroker for the coat. Chemicals. Is it gonna be this? Is it this actually we have to use? It's not gonna be this, is it?
Objection.
No. Okay. 'Cause I'm on the right track. I'm just not where I need to be, you know? Did I press them all? I'm pretty sure I pressed them all. All right, let me figure this out.
Objection.
Oh my god, what? I was just trying them all randomly. And why the box one? Okay. Maybe I forgot about what this box actually was. Oh no. Anyways, we did it. It only took me a long time to go through almost everything and just keep trying random things. Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst part of Ace Attorney is when you can't figure out one thing, so you just have to try everything. And that's what happened here. This disc was deposited at Windy Banks on Magus McGilded's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again. And in any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon. The witness had no reason to visit the pawnbrokery again that night.
Objection.
Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true. This is a false smugness, because I shouldn't be getting this right now. What? Mr. McGilded had another article in Pawn at Windy Banks. As this second pawnbroker's ticket proves, I completely forgot about this. Never mind. Ugh. There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGilded in Windy Banks' pawnbrokery, and the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers. Ugh.
This is the second ticket, is it?
What had the man deposited? The article description reads, 1 small box.
A rather vague description, it seems to me.
Are you suggesting that I broke into the pawnbroker with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are adequate grounds to suspect you did. That is this is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing? Once the article has been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no reason for me to resort to theft. That's a good point.
Indeed. The witness makes a solid argument.
So that means that for some reason, this Graydon fellow needed the small box that very night, does it?
Objection!
Oh. Hello. It is time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks? Because, we're just getting to the good stuff.
I do hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windy Banks' pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it. Do you have the box? What?
Oh, good gracious!
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court if you please. Yes, sir. What prints? Well, these prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras. Hurley's red-handed recorders again. As previously explained using this plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter while Mr. Windybank received his customers. The other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited. According to the information on this ticket, a McGilded small box had been forfeited already, 2 days before the incident at 9 p.m. on the 13th of April to be precise, which means it would have been on the shelves of forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is a print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's at 11 p.m. on the 15th of April. Is it that little wind-up box there? The one in the middle that's very clearly lit?
The victim certainly had a very full shop, it would appear.
And then we have another print. This was taken about 2 hours after... We're going to need to use a stereoscope to see that it's been moved. It was taken about 2 hours after the incident.
I see. So we have two pictures to compare. If only we had a small device to which to compare them.
Is it just me or is it very clearly moved?
Though I must say, placing them side by side leaves me cold. Dear me, that's starting to make my head ache.
Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we considered theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life.
So you men have already compared these two prints thoroughly, Inspector?
Yes, sir. We counted every single item in each of these two photographic prints. And the Yard's conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. Well, that doesn't mean they haven't moved. You just counted. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbroker on the night in question, and my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Oh, no, if only I had a small device to put the pictures in. I don't believe it. If I could just show that he'd stolen McGilded's pawn box. Ooh-ha, yeah. Might be able to break him down at last. You know what, Runo? I've been thinking. I wonder if these two photographs really are exactly the same. Are you telling me to cross my eyes right now? I'll do it. I'll heckin' do it. I'll do it right now. I've been practicing. Okay. Line them up, line them up, line them up, line them up. Okay, I actually can't right now. We'll see here. What?
So, counsel, in light of the evidence put forward by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that, in fact, on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment. Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
I don't know. Could there be some hidden discrepancy in these photographic prints somewhere? Oh, frick. Before I give my answer, my lord, I'd like to try something if I may.
Well, try something. What do you mean, counsel?
I'll need to use a certain piece of evidence from the court record to identify the discrepancy. Oh, frick, he knows what he's doing.
I'm not entirely sure I follow. Which piece of evidence do you intend to use to help you identify a discrepancy between the two prints?
This here, the stereoscope.
Take that!
I'd like to use this device, my lord, to view the two prints stereoscopically. Oh! Oh, yes! You've caught the bug at last! You can't resist, can you? You've got the cross-eyed compulsion! Juror number 3, what a surprise. Come on, Runo. Let's put the pictures in place and see what this wonderful contraption shows us. There we go. Now look through the eyepiece. Oh, that's the box. I wasn't sure at first, but there is a clear discrepancy between these two prints. What?
You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy with which you speak.
Could it be this clear, obvious thing? Right here?
Take that!
Granted, these two prints are almost identical. However, there's one minor discrepancy between them. What? Oh yeah, you can clearly see that it's moved, actually. When you view these two pictures stereoscopically, it glows, which is not what should happen. A single area stands out as being different. The location of this small box. Let me... Wait. Unbelievable.
By Jove, you're right! How extraordinary!
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGilded's small box was indeed not stolen from Winnipegs on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting that the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGilded is in fact...
Yes, the very same small box I just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen. Which means quite simply that nothing has changed. That... You got me there. That may be true, but... Alright, McGilded's box wasn't stolen then. But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? It changes everything. I believe this changes everything about the case. How can that possibly be? The crucial point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windybanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary. Some little box belonging to a man who died 2 months ago can possibly be relevant to this trial.
The court does not uphold your objection, Lord Van Zeeks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination.
So, do we have to stay here? Haven't said anything for a while. Feel like people have forgotten I'm here. Even my big brother will look at me. And Gregson, he doesn't want to be a brother either. I'm just here, sitting. I'm so sure. Is this my life now?
We should report within half an hour. I think perhaps we should recess for a short while while the evidence is brought forth.
To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing.
I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zeeks.
This is nothing but a smokescreen. A Nipponese specialty, it would seem. As we know, all of them are ninjas, and they carry smoke bombs with them, and they throw them down and yell nin nin as they do their ninjutsus. I know, I've seen ye olde Naruto. What are you trying to say? My learned friend has persisted with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning, and this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGilded from the pawnbrokery. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place. Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. I mean, evidence doesn't need to be expensive to be important, you know? If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGilded perished 2 months ago, immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society his reputation implied, in fact. So I propose a toast to my learned friend and his most insightful defense. The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that just happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box. I assure you, I wouldn't accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such things to me.
You know, that does make
Rather a lot of sense. It's not as if it was gold or jewels, was it? Though goodness knows McGill was rich enough, but you can't deposit cash upon broker. I'm quite certain of that.
prosecutor's argument is undeniably compelling.
It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument. To explain what possible significance these commonplace articles pawned by this fine citizen could have.
Well, counsel, is your argument in fact demonstrable? Are you able to show proof that the disc of the box are in any tangible way related to this case?
Well, what, the scallop? He just makes a puckered up face. What's the matter, Runo? Lemon. Lemon. We both know they're related, don't we? They're both vital pieces of evidence. Yes, of course. You and I both know that. We know McGilded's true character, and we know the disc is significant, even if we don't know why. But if we explain all that to the court at this point, we'll have to acknowledge that McGilded's acquittal 2 months ago was a mistake. The defense's argument was flawed, based on false information. Oh no! And that would mean admitting that Gina committed perjury. This is such a trap. But Ginny, could it be that Van Zieks knows? Is this why he's doing this now? Because he anticipated everything? But maybe. This could be a great opportunity for us. Sorry? What do you mean, Iris? Well, what is that you always say, Runo? Sooner or later, the truth comes out, every time. Oh, you're saying it's better we admit to the perjury? So that she gets a lesser sentence? Is that what we're doing? Alright, the exact significance of the things that McGilded deposited with Mr. Windybank is something that only Gina can explain to the court. But if I put her on the stand to testify about that, it could critically damage our chance of winning this case. Okay. What's the right thing to do here? Obviously have her testify. The truth comes out sooner or later. It's going to come out, right? It is going to come out. Yeah. My lord, the defense would like to make a proposal.
No? Well, what proposal, counsel?
While the court awaits the arrival of McGilded's small box, I would like to call the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, to the witness stand.
The defendant? To what end?
It's to do with the various articles deposited at Windybanks by Mr. McGilded, my lord. Miss Lestrade has information relating to them. I believe it would be beneficial for the court to hear what she has to say. It will prove the significance of the articles in question, once and for all. Well, well. Things are becoming interesting. I presume you've considered the implications of the testimony you're proposing. In particular, the impact it will have on the accused's standing, and indeed your own. I have.
Lord Van Zieks, would you care to explain the last remark?
The prosecution accepts the defense's proposal. I move to interrupt the cross-examination of the current witness and hear from the accused herself.
Very well, if you have no objection. So, the court will now hear the testimony of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. You witnesses currently in the stand may step down until further notice.
Buddy, you're not wearing a hat. I shall bid you good day. Wait. You, sir, shall remain in the stand while Miss Lestrade testifies. Oh, frick. As you wish. All right then, Gina. It's time. I know this'll be hard, but please, put your faith in me here. Good luck, Runo.
Oh, I guess I'm going now. Goodbye, everyone.
The articles that Mr. McGilded had deposited in Windybank's pawnbrokery are intimately related with the omnibus case, the trial of which was heard in this courtroom 2 months ago.
Yes, but I remember this young lady being brought before me in that trial as well.
That's right, my lord. Her testimony helped me to establish the innocence of the defendant, Mr. McGilded. The omnibus case was intriguing, to say the least. And now here we all are again, the same players in that trial, facing each other once more. A twist of fate, perhaps, my Nipponese friend. Just because I'm Japanese doesn't mean I know all about fate, buddy. Allow me to recap the events 2 months ago. An old brickmaker was stabbed to death in an omnibus running along London's winter streets. Apart from the victim, there was only one other person in the carriage, Mr. McGilded. Naturally, he was the prime suspect for the murder. But as the trial progressed, another possibility emerged. That the murder in fact took place above the defendant's head on the roof deck, with the body then being dropped through the skylight in the carriage below. It was Miss Lestrade whose testimony brought that possibility to light. At the time of the incident, Miss Lestrade was concealed under a seat in the carriage, hoping to pick the pockets of unsuspecting passengers. Then, immediately after the trial, having been acquitted of the murder, Mr. McGilded died in this very courtroom in the most extraordinary of circumstances. A mystery that remains unsolved even now, 2 months on, as indeed does the omnibus murder itself.
Be that as it may, I recall neither the disc nor this small box being mentioned in the course of those proceedings.
Miss Lestrade, would you tell the court now, please, what really happened in the omnibus 2 months ago, I mean? I don't know what you mean. I already said all what I know. And what about everything you told us yesterday from inside your prison cell? Please, Miss Lestrade, this is extremely important. But... Remember, little girl, if it transpires that you willfully withheld information in the trial 2 months ago, the Home Office will seek to prosecute you for perjury. And naturally, you will lose all credibility as a witness. Although, let's face facts, you have little credibility to lose. Ginny, don't listen to him. Please, you have to trust Runo now. Oh, Iris, we're on your side. All right, then. I'll talk. It's the right choice, Gina. Well, it would seem that my learned friend is hell-bent on bringing the entire courtroom down about his ears. So be it.
I must confess that I'm struggling to understand what on earth is happening here. I mean, I'm just along for the ride. Don't care about me, I'm just the judge. However, it would appear that Mr. McGilded's pawned articles and that extraordinary case of the omnibus harbor secrets of which we have been hitherto unaware. So, Miss Lestrade, you will now give your testimony before the court about the events of 2 months ago. You will reveal the truth, a commodity solely lacking in your original statements.
This is it then, everything's gonna come out. Like Van Zeke said, this could bring the whole courtroom down about my ears. But as a lawyer, I'm prepared to take that risk. All right. The real truth of the omnibus case. Truth is, that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin above the over the omnibus the whole time. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. All of a sudden, I heard a scream from over me head, and that bear on the roof went off to call the slops. That's when McGilded slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I'd seen or heard.
Good grief! It's outrageous! What you've just told the court bears almost no resemblance to your testimony 2 months ago.
As you say, my lord.
Well, then there's every chance I may have adjudicated in error in McGilded's trial. Sounds very much to me as if the man deliberately deceived this court in effort to cover up the most wicked of schemes.
Without doubt, your lordship is correct. A great injustice was done in this courtroom 2 months ago. The actions of the accused in that trial, of this witness, and of my learned friend are entirely inexcusable. I don't believe it. The whole trial was a farce, it was all lies. That McGilded fellow was rotten to the core, just like that pickpocket.
Don't forget the lawyer from the east. They were all in on it together.
You're wrong, the lot of you. Mr. Nara O'Dow, with the lawyer there, I didn't know nothing about it.
Humbug!
I don't think so. Are we really expected to believe that? Oh, he really stitched everyone up, didn't he? What an operation to get the man off scot-free! Unforgivable. Stop. The lies have to stop. Yes, the defense made a terrible error of judgment. I intend to take full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences are deemed appropriate. However, it's imperative that the court allows the witness to elaborate on her testimony, because the true significance of McGilded's pawned articles must be brought to light. Very well, my learned student friend. Oh, hey, you're not being racist to me anymore, at least. Given the depths of calamity you've just plunged yourself into, this may well be worth hearing.
Words fail me. This situation is utterly deplorable, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, my lord.
I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial.
Of course, my lord. Blimey, Mr. Naruhodo.
Now, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Why is he just turned around? He's just not listening. Truth is that Brickmaker Cove was in the cabin of the omnibus the whole time.
Hold it!
Tell me more. And you were hiding in the cabin at the time as well, weren't you, Miss Lestrade? If I remember rightly, in the storage compartment underneath one of the seats. Yeah, well, that's right. It's pitch black under there, so you can't see nothing at all. They're talking! Why are they colluding?
Now, in your testimony 2 months ago, I feel certain you claimed Mr. McGilded was the sole passenger, did you not?
False testimony, my lord. That's what he told me I had to say. But it's important that you tell us the truth now. Were Mr. McGilded and the victim acquaintances? I don't know. But I did hear them talking a lot. What were they talking about? Well, I couldn't hear too well, but if I had to say, I think it was about money or something. They kept talking about buying and not buying.
Perhaps business dealings of some kind.
Well, anyway, they got louder and louder. It started to sound like a proper fight. I was pretty scared by then. I hardly dared to breathe. And then all of a sudden, I heard a noise like someone keeling over on the floor. It was blooming loud, no?
But I believe you let out an involuntary scream.
Yeah, that's what gave me away. When the Irishman dragged me out from under the seat, I saw that disc on the floor. Was the disc you saw this disc? Yeah, I reckon it probably was. It was right next to the cov lying on the floor.
Could this disc have belonged to the victim, perhaps?
I don't know, but McGilded picked it up pretty smartish. And then he sat the cove with the knife and his belly up on the seat. What did he say to you at that time? He told me not to say a word about what I'd seen or heard to no one. About the disc and all. I was dead scared. The way he was looking at me, I thought, if I didn't go along with it, I'd get stuck with that knife too. And he started asking me a load of questions. Like what my name was and where I lived and that. He asked me about being a diver too. After a while, what had happened in the carriage was noticed? Yeah, that's right. Plus there was kind of rapping noise. You know, like a boots, cats, boots. Sorry. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. All of a sudden I heard a screaming from over me head, and the pair on the roof deck went off to call the slops. That's called the slops. That means cops. There were 2 gentlemen occupying the seats on the roof deck, I believe. That's right. One of them's meant to be Australian. I must look down through the skylight and notice the cove with the knife in his guts. When they screamed, the driver pulled up on the horses and McGilded got me out of sight.
Out of sight? Where?
Back into the seat where I started off. Once the carriage came to an halt, the 2 cobs from the roof ran off to fetch the slops. They immediately left to fetch the police. It would appear they were entirely unrelated to the incident. So that left McGilded, the driver, and you still at the scene. Yeah, only the driver didn't know I was there because I was under the seat. I had the cabin door open and a voice from outside.
The driver, yes. He also testified in the trial, I believe. A fellow who went under the name of Wemple, if memory serves. What a funny little name, Wemple.
What did McGilded and the driver say to each other? I don't know what happened and stuff like that mainly. That's when McGilded slipped the driver some tin to do a run to the pawn shop roundabout. That pawn shop obviously being Windy Banks on Baker Street.
Just a moment, counsel. Do you mean to tell me that the driver gave false testimony in the trial as well?
Perhaps the excursion to the pawnbrokery slipped his mind while he was in the stand.
Oh, indeed, Lord Van Zeeks.
McGilded took off his coat and gave it to the driver, I folded it up all careful like before handing it over. When I saw him do that, I remember thinking, that coat and what's in it's got to be worth a few bob. Yes, Gina was sure the disc must be worth more than Windybank was suggesting, wasn't she? I remember her quibbling with him over the price that afternoon at the pawnbrokery. Our driver looked pretty happy when McGill did flash some brash in his face. I went running off at a lick. Then the bog trotter called to me and told me to come out from the drag's cabin. He threatened me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I'd seen or heard.
Hold it!
Threatened you how exactly? Told me I'd only been able to stop it if I did exactly what he said. Which included giving false testimony in court 2 months ago. Yeah, that's it. And there was one other thing he said. Which was... He told me I have to hang on to the ticket from the pawn shop. And make sure not to lose it.
But the ticket? Well, I never.
Said that if he didn't show up to get the ticket off me before 2 months had passed, I had to go to the pawn shop and pay the money to keep it in lug and stop it from being forfeited. He left me with some brass to pay for it.
But really? Why on earth would Mr. McGill have done such a thing? Depositing his own coat at the pawnbroker before the arrival of the police. It makes no sense at all. It's almost like he was a criminal of some sort.
There would seem to be only one logical explanation, my lord. What McGill had the driver deposit at Windybanks was something he didn't want the police to see. Something very important that he needed to hide at all costs. Anyway, after that he let me go, so I legged it before the coppers showed up. Well done, Gina. It can't have been easy to tell the truth like that. Gina's really put her faith in you, Runo. Yes, and to thank her, she'll have to face a charge of perjury once this trial's over. So I need to use the time we have now to get as much information out of her as possible. It's time to really go for it. Press her on every statement. Suppose I should. Oh, and another thing. I was gonna say I did that. What's that? Take a look at those two. Isn't it strange that they've been whispering to each other the entire time? Yes, that is strange. It looks like they're having a secret discussion about something. I'm not sure I'm completely comfortable with that. I wonder if there's anything I can do about it. Okay, that sounds like we need to press again and see if there's anything different this time. Right? Press it all and see if they react. Right, see if they buck up. Let's see. That's all fine. Because if you're fast forwarding like this, it does stop when they do it. Like we've seen that there before.
Hold it!
So we'll see here. Okay, what was the disc? You saw this disc. Da, 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 da. I'm watching him. I'm watching him. Okay. Son I heard a scream. Call the cops. Okay, this is all about the same. It's these fellas. Uh-huh. Anything we can do for them? I don't think we can just press them without the thing, right? I think we need to actually... Like it needs to be, she has to say something that caused them to do something, right? Slip the driver some tin to run to the pawn shop. Right? Okay. Uh-huh. Threaten me to snitch.
Hold it!
Yeah. Let's see here. Hang on to the ticket. Okay, no, huh? Go for it. Another thing. Yeah. Huh. What is it they want me to do? Heard a scream. Threatened me to snitch. Let's see here. Okay, he was... Huh. I don't think we have anything to present. Threaten me not to snitch, not to say nothing to no one about what I've seen or heard. We don't have any evidence, do we? I don't think so. Right? I don't think there's anything about it. Right? Saw that disc on the floor. Is it something about showing... What the frick are they expecting me to do? Do we just need to call them out randomly? Can I just call them? Let's just try. Let's just call them out. Let's go with threaten me not to snitch. Sure, let's just do this. Okay, threaten you how? Let's go to, well, there's red text maybe. Right? There was the one that had the red text here. There we go, the ticket. I don't know.
Excuse me.
Hi guys, what are you talking about? Is there something you'd like to share with the court, Inspector Gregson and Mr. Graydon? Inspector, Mr. Graydon. Wow, blimey, you're trying to give me a heart attack. You've been whispering to each other for quite some time now. I guess this is just it. Okay. Tell us, what is this discussion about? A discussion? With this fella? I'll pull the other one, sunshine. Think I've got anything to talk about with a shady gent like this? And I have nothing to say to this uncouth detective after he deprived me of that disc that was rightfully mine. But they've clearly been talking the entire time I've been cross-examining Gina. It's as if they've been negotiating. Can we separate them? Can we, like, move them apart from each other?
Thank you, Mr. Strad. Thank you, Counsel. I've heard enough. I believe we now have a reasonable understanding of what actually transpired on the omnibus.
It would appear on that night 2 months ago a negotiation was taking place on the omnibus. A negotiation concerning this disc. However, matters did not run smoothly. When the parties involved began to quarrel over price, McGilded took what he wanted by force, at the expense of the other man's life. Which proves my point. The disc is clearly extremely valuable in some way. Although I don't understand why as of yet. And 2 days ago, precisely 2 months after the omnibus incident, McGilded's coat and its contents were due to be forfeited. I didn't know what I should do with the ticket. I mean, the cove died right after his trial. I knew that. So you decided you would try to claim the articles as your own. Well, why not, eh? They were only going to be forfeited. Why shouldn't I have got him? Anyway, you can't blame me for thinking about it. Thinking ain't no crime.
Not yet, but you know, in 2023, thought crimes are apparently real now.
No, I'm not gonna. That's a stupid joke. I'm not gonna go there, but that's how some people think.
Mr. Strad, it would appear Mr. McGilded was prepared to kill in order to take possession of this disc. Do you know why that would be?
I ain't got a clue. But I reckon it must be worth a fair bit of brass. He was probably going to sell it. And you can't blame me for thinking that. Thinking ain't no crime. My lord, hi, we got the box?
The evidence your lordship requested has been located and is ready for the court's inspection, sir.
Cool. Can we see it? The mysterious little box deposited by McGilded 2 months ago. There's no doubt in my mind that it's a key piece in this far-reaching puzzle. Oh, frick, is that it? End of chapter? Okay, sounds good. I thought we'd go a little bit longer, but hey, that's fine. It's fine by me. Sounds good. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time for some more Let's Play The Great Ace Attorney. We'll see you then, guys. Ciao.
Our